Stop trying to be like, start being legendary. It sounds dramatic, but that's what this life calls for now. Less people pleasing. More purpose chasing. Less nodding to the crowd. More kneeling to your calling. Because being liked is easy. Being legendary is costly. One is popularity. The other is legacy. The world is full of likable people. Nice smiles. Polished words. Predictable actions. And empty souls. Because when you aim to be liked, you edit yourself. You soften your strength. You hide your power. You dilute your truth. You become agreeable to all, but aligned to none. You become everyone's favorite, and no one's standard. Legendary people are different. They offend the comfortable, and comfort the offended. They speak the truth when it shakes the room. They do the hard thing while others applaud the easy. They're not here to please the tribe. They're here to elevate it. They don't bend to trends. They build their own traditions. When you chase approval, you sacrifice authenticity. When you chase applause, you lose alignment. When you live to be liked, you'll never be loved for who you truly are. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be liked. It teaches you to be real. To be grounded. To live by virtues. Even when they make you unpopular. Especially then. Because your job isn't to shine for others. It's to light the fire within. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, he didn't care who would like them. He wrote them to himself. To remind himself of discipline, of virtue, of mortality, of the gods watching above. He didn't post to be followed. He lived to be remembered by the divine. When Epictetus taught, he didn't aim for popularity. He aimed for clarity. For the liberation of the soul. He didn't tell his students what they wanted to hear. He told them what they needed. That's what legends do. They confront. They disrupt. They heal with truth. Even if it hurts first. A person who seeks to be liked will avoid the storm. A person who seeks to be legendary will walk straight into it. Because that's where meaning is forged. In fire. Not applause. What's your goal today? To be liked. Or to be remembered. To be praised in the room. Or to be respected in the silence. To be safe. Or to be sacred. You can't be both. You can't be the favorite. And the truth teller. You can't be the puppet. And the prophet. You have to choose. One leads to fame. The other leads to legacy. One fades. The other echoes. Most of the people you try to impress will forget your name in a year. Most of the people you try to please will move on to the next trend tomorrow. So why betray your essence for their approval today? Legends live differently. They rise early. Not for vanity, but for virtue. They train their minds. Not for show, but for strength. They give. Not for attention, but for alignment with the divine. They speak less. And say more. They do more. And post less. They are not loud. They are light. They don't need likes. They need discipline. Because that's what makes them free. This world doesn't need another trendy person. It needs the timeless, the disciplined, the grounded, the ones who live so true. Even time can't erase them. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Apply that to attention, to approval, to being liked. The one who craves to be liked is always a prisoner. But the one who walks in alignment with virtue, even if hated, is free. Stop trying to be liked. Start being rooted. Rooted in truth, in daily duty, in moral clarity, in the hard silence of growth. Because legends are not built in comfort. They are built in commitment. You will be misunderstood. You will be mocked. You will be rejected. You will be labeled. But so were all the greats. So were the saints, the rebels, the prophets, the poets, the martyrs, the philosophers. They knew the price, and still paid it. Because they weren't living for the crowd. They were living for the cosmos. And so must you. Do not water down your purpose, just to be welcomed by people with no roots. Do not trade your higher calling for a hollow cheer. Do not shrink your standards to fit into spaces that dishonor them. The crowd is not your compass. Your conscience is. The likes are not your ladder. Your discipline is. The fame is not your fuel. Your faith is. When you stop trying to be liked, you'll finally have time to be excellent. To go deep. To suffer. To rise. To carve your name into eternity. Not for ego, but for impact. Not for status, but for soul. When you live for likes, you need constant validation. But when you live for purpose, you become self-fueled, rooted, grounded, immovable, unshakable. The Stoic doesn't need a crowd. The Stoic needs clarity. They wake up with discipline, not dopamine. They act with intention, not reaction. They serve the logos, not the likes. The world will always tempt you with a shortcut, with popularity, with glitter. But the Stoic says no. The Stoic stays the course. The Stoic walks uphill, carrying weight, while others dance downhill, chasing applause. And when the dust settles, it is the quiet ones, the steady ones, the loyal ones, who are still standing, still true, still excellent. That's what you're called to. Not to be seen, but to be strong. Not to be cheered, but to be consistent. Not to be followed, but to be faithful. You weren't born to impress them. You were born to serve something higher. Your soul, your duty, your code, your God. So walk on. Unliked but unbreakable. Alone but aligned. Mocked but masterful. Fewer cheers, but fuller conscience. Let others chase being liked. You chase being legendary. Being liked is a short-term comfort. Being legendary is a long-term commitment. Likes fade with the mood of the crowd. Legacy remains when the crowd forgets your name. A legend doesn't shift with the trends. He walks a straight path, even when it's lonely. The masses want applause. The master wants impact. You will not change the world by being agreeable. You will not be remembered by blending in. You are not here to soften yourself to fit the mold. You are here to break the mold with sacred fire. To be legendary, you must disappoint the shallow. You must upset the predictable. You must outgrow the approval of the mediocre. Your calling will confuse the crowd. Your greatness will threaten the comfortable. Your silence will unsettle the noisy. Your values will expose the transactional. You must stop asking for permission to be excellent. You must stop apologizing for your intensity. You must stop diluting your vision for likes. A like is not love. It's not loyalty. It's not destiny. It's just a button pressed by a distracted thumb. But your work is divine. Your voice is sacred. Your mission is holy. And holiness doesn't pander. It doesn't conform. It doesn't beg to be seen. It shines even in shadows. You don't need to be followed. You need to be fulfilled. You don't need to trend. You need to transcend. If the world misunderstands you, so be it. If they mock you, bless them, and keep building. If they ignore you, let your legacy shout when you're gone. Because one soul on fire is greater than 1,000 faces smiling. A lion is not concerned with popularity. He's focused on purpose. He's grounded in presence. He leads because he must. Not because it's easy. You are not a commodity. You are a calling. You are not here to decorate timelines. You are here to disturb timelines. To awaken them. To rattle them. To lift them. Even if they resist. Even if they run. Even if they forget your name. Your work will remain. Stop asking for claps. Start creating earthquakes. Stop chasing fans. Start chasing flames. Because when the fire of purpose burns within you, you won't care who likes it. You'll care that it's done. That it's true. That it's holy. That it's forever. And that, my friend, is legendary. Legends aren't born in comfort. They're forged in fire. They're built in rejection. Sharpened by solitude. Carved by criticism. Tested by trials. You cannot please everyone and stay true to yourself. You cannot serve the divine and serve your ego. Choose one. Because the crowd will cheer until you challenge them. Then they'll turn. Then they'll mock. Then they'll vanish. Let them. You are not made for temporary praise. You are made for eternal weight. For timeless truth. For divine excellence. Every moment you waste trying to be liked. You delay becoming who you were meant to be. You distract your soul. You silence your gift. You tame your strength. You were never meant to be neutral. You were never meant to be safe. You were meant to roar. To build. To blaze. To echo in eternity. The world doesn't need more liked people. It needs more lit people. People who are bold. People who are grounded. People who live on purpose. So let go of their hands. And take hold of your destiny. Because you were not born to be liked. You were born to be legendary.